Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream scene. We are going to be talking about food today and cooking streams and how to stream cooking on Twitch. I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, the Hunter Wild, who is hurriedly writing notes already. Has already learned so much behind the scenes.
I did in our behind the stream scenes conversation. So good. I was already jotting down notes. I have two full sets.
Oh, wow.
Well,
How you
I
doing?
am doing well and mildly confused today. Don't know why. It's just a Monday, I suppose.
It's a norm, I think, now.
I think it is.
Hunter standards here.
Knows exactly what that's about, but also a safe expectation that I'm incredibly excited about today's show, and I am, in fact, for reasons I was sharing behind the stream scenes, where I'm working on finalizing my cooking stream setup. So I'm here today to steal all the secrets.
Perfect.
Unfortunately for me and my very dedicated career to cooking streams, everybody else also gets to share in the wisdom and knowledge from our incredible and well-versed guests. The Hunger Service. Got there.
Let the Hunger Games begin.
Oh no!
Oh, foiled already. And SushiDay.
I had
Thank
to.
you, Hunger Service and SushiDay. Thank you both for joining us today. If you wouldn't mind giving us a rundown of who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
All right, so we agreed I'm going first. So,
Yes.
Hi, I'm Allison. I am SushiDay. I've been a cooking streamer for the last 2.5 years, since late 2017. But I was a food blogger before that. So I've actually been doing food stuff online for 15 years,
Wow.
something like that. It's been a while. So yeah, I do cooking streams every weekend. I also happen to be a programming streamer, just randomly. But yeah, so
That's awesome.
that's me. That's what
Very
I do.
closely related content.
Absolutely.
But hi, I'm the Hunger Service. But everyone knows me as LA, like the city. It's short for a double first name. I've been streaming cooking on Twitch since early 2017, so it puts me about a little more than 3 years. I'm a former sushi chef of 10 years though, and I quit to become a photographer and then fell into streaming a few years ago, and here we are now. So
Just some cool wild rides.
I
y'all
know.
had.
It's almost full circle. You started cooking and now you're back cooking. It's awesome. So
and taking photos of said cooking, so I mean it works out. So.
Blended together.
that's really, really cool. So you both, Allison, how many years did you say you were doing cooking streams on Twitch?
2.5. So
Okay.
I started in November of 2017.
So you both
So
have like
maybe
a
like
couple
half a
years.
year after LA started.
That's awesome. So you both have like a couple years under your belt. What did cooking on Twitch look like? Like when you guys started, did you start because people were doing this, or did you just like kind of feel like no one else was doing this and you wanted to get into it? Like what did the cooking scene look like on Twitch?
So when I started on Twitch, there was like maybe a handful of cooking streamers that I distinctly remember, such as like Cooking for Noobs, Bonsai Baby was cooking on Twitch, Domestic Dan, Working Chef. They were all cooking on Twitch. I was like, oh, this looks cool. Like, I like kind of wanted to give it a try back then because I was like, I'm I've got a specific set of skills that I could probably offer to the Twitch community and see what happens and see where it went. So yeah, there were already people doing it, but I was like, oh, let me give it a shot. So
Yeah, it was. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if y'all were streaming first
And then,
and then
started
decided
cooking?
to do cooking streams, or were cooking streams how you originally initiated your streaming careers?
yes,
Cooking streams were how I got in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on. I was just that popped into my head. I was curious.
That's fine. So yeah, when I started, like Ellie was saying, it was very small. There weren't that many people. I didn't actually know about the cooking community before I decided to start streaming, but then went and researched and was like, I gotta, see who's doing this, see what they're doing, like figure out how you do this whole cooking on Twitch thing. because my husband and I had been watching Twitch for a while. We actually got to go to TwitchCon that year before we started streaming because we randomly happened to get free tickets. And it was in Long Beach that year. So we're in Los Angeles. So it was like, okay, sure, we'll go check this out. So we ended up going to TwitchCon and being like, hey, maybe this is something that we could try.
All right.
And then I was checking out the community, and it was a very small but very, very welcoming community from the start. It was just the most amazing community from the start.
That's awesome. So what was setting up for a cooking stream for your first time like? Was it just like one camera, and then was it just like a hot mess, or did you really plan it out before you got into it?
I'll take this one to start. I have a backup computer for all my like backup photos from my photography work, and I was cooking every day in the kitchen already, so I just pretty much pushed that like rig into my kitchen, put a monitor on my island. I was like, all right, well, I'll just add a couple cameras and see where this goes. So it was just very much like this like 5-6 year old computer like running my stream at the time, like sitting underneath this island. I'm just like scared I'm gonna like splash something into it, like, you know. But yeah, it was just like built on hoping this will all work.
Yeah, I started with a MacBook, which was terrible because our video and our audio were out of sync. It was just so bad. But we were also very lucky that because of the food blogging, we had the cameras already. And my brother is in music, so he just happened to have some extra lavalier mics that I could use for that. We already had another mic from podcasting. So like we happened to have a lot of the stuff already, which worked out really well for us.
That's
so we
nice.
could kind of just like be like, okay, we're going to start streaming. Just do it. It's going to be terrible, but just do it.
Cobble it
So that was
together,
kind of just
make it work.
how we got into it.
That's awesome. Hunter, have you ever done a cooking stream ever?
I have attempted many. They've never actually streamed out to Twitch.
Oh gosh.
What went wrong?
Where to even start? Mostly audio issues. I would get audio working. This is the story of my career. I get audio working perfectly when I was testing stuff, and then I do one final test right before going live, and it would just be hot garbage. And I was like, no, but it was like that with a lot of things. So
Wait,
hopefully,
what did you say?
Setup, it'll be.
I couldn't hear you. What did you say? Your audio cut out. Is it
Don't
working
start with-
properly?
Oh my god!
I'm just kidding.
You're the worst. You know exactly how to get right to the heart.
I'm sorry. I'm a big troll. I've done, I think, one cooking stream. I killed Hunter. That's it. I've done one cooking stream, and it was back in my old apartment. It was like a tiny 1-bedroom apartment. So I basically just got some USB extension cords and just like my desk was already basically 5 steps from the kitchen in this tiny, like there's like 2 counters and a stovetop. So I just like connected I just brought my mic or my camera over and just like clamped it on above the fridge so it looked down on the counters, and I just got like a little like mobile mic, and that was it. Like it was I did a Blue Apron. It was like a 2-hour little thing, and then I just ate it on stream. It was like very, very cute.
Nice.
But yeah, I feel like when you're starting out, like you just kind of, it's gonna be a mess, right? You're just gonna kind of put things together. Things aren't gonna work. I feel like it's one of those things that you need that hands-on experience to really like figure out and like tweak, right?
Yeah, you gotta just put your feet in the water and see how it feels, and like see what you can improve later on. Like, I don't think there's like a blueprint for doing cooking streams, because like if you like look around the food and drink community, everyone's got different setups and it's all like very free form. So I'm just like, yeah, you know, whatever works for whatever setup you have.
And I don't know if this was the same for you, LA, but I feel like most cooking streamers at the very start overdo it like crazy. I was streaming 6 days a week. I was trying to stream all sorts of fancy stuff. And I just was like, oh, this is too much. And I also have way too much food. I can't do this.
Yeah, the food has
Like
to
I've
go
done it 2
somewhere,
days a
too.
week and I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody overdoes it at the very beginning.
So that's actually really interesting. So you do cooking streams twice a week. Do you do you stream other days outside of that? Because you mentioned you do programming too, right?
So the programming is more on and off, and it's on a different channel.
Oh, okay.
But that if I'm working, I don't really do the programming streams because I just don't have time on the weekdays. But because I'm a contractor, so like sometimes I'm working, sometimes I'm not. So when I'm not, we'll do the programming streams occasionally on weekdays. But the cooking stream is the steady one that I always do every weekend. That's the consistent one.
That's interesting. What about you, LA? Do you do things outside of cooking, or how many days a week do you do cooking streams?
I'm on 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And it's always at 5 p.m. and I'm only on for like 2 to 3 hours at a time. So yeah, I mean, other than that, like I'm either working on my photography work or just in general marketing stuff for photography or Twitch stuff. So it's that's where my time's allocated during the week. But yeah, I'm on 4 times. And that's usually busy enough for me.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, in terms of like, I know Hunter mentioned this pre-stream, like figuring out what you're going to cook, like how much planning and prep goes into doing these streams. I'm sure it's a lot.
And as a follow-up, is that any different with quarantine stuff because of any struggles and difficulties in acquiring the groceries you need to actually make the meals you're shooting for?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm planning my streams 3 weeks in advance, at least.
Oh, wow.
And I buy as much as I can in one trip at the beginning of those 3 weeks, and just use whatever, and just kind of like work in whatever I have, like in my cold stock, like my freezer or whatever. And I'm trying to cook more stuff that's easier to store for long periods of time. But yeah, I mean, before quarantine, it was like maybe a week or 2 ahead, and it was like based off suggestions from chat and then my own things that I wanted to try or learn.
See, I'm actually the exact opposite. Before quarantine, I was planning at least a month ahead. Like I like to have every single thing planned out. Now it's a lot more of like, okay, what was I actually able to get this week? Because I can't always get the things that I want to get. Or like, do I have the energy to do this more complicated thing? Or am I just like burned out by life and just want to do a super easy dish? So it's been a lot more like, all right, I'm planning 1 week ahead and that's all I got. So it's been different. And a lot of like the events that I used to do beforehand, like the showdowns, like cookbook club, all of those are on hold right now because it's just so much harder to do specialized stuff like that and have like be able to get specific ingredients. And yeah, it's definitely made it harder.
This made me curious about something else. What about how does the prep work differ for streaming cooking versus cooking on your own? So like I'm a massive fan of mise en place. I got to have everything done in advance, get it all oriented and looking pretty just for me, everything measured out before I even preheat the oven.
You first.
Okay. In terms of prep, it hasn't changed that much for me. But in terms of actually cooking, I can't just like stick something in the oven and go back to my computer and work. Like I have to stay there and talk to people.
Right.
So it's very different in that way of things that are maybe a little easier off stream because I can just like set it and forget it, are a bit more work on stream because I have to be there entertaining people, figuring out how to, do something during that time. So I don't feel like prep has really changed much for me though.
I do all my prep on stream for the most part because like people like to see that how you would like cut things and how you like deal with certain ingredients and stuff like that. And I think that the difference is it just takes longer, just hanging out and chatting and like getting distracted. But yeah, I mean, for like fresh vegetables and meats and stuff, that's normal. For bread and other things like that, that's a whole different story of like, do we make 2 so that we have one ready? Do we do the TV? The Fantastic
Have you actually done that?
once.
Have you done that, LA? Oh, really?
People were
I
disappointed.
don't think I've done that before.
You had one done in advance and another one that you were, so you could just like cut that time down
Yeah.
considerably in terms of what
Because-
you actually showed the stream.
Because like bread takes time to rise, like we'll give it an hour or two, and casual cat on stream. And I didn't want to wait 2 hours, so I had one already proofing ready to go by the time I had finished first loaf of dough. I was like, well, and here we go. I'm like, I was like, and then,
Oh, no.
but that the problem is I had too much bread at the end of it. So.
I will sometimes do prep before stream. That's going to be a pain in the butt to do on stream. Like it's something that's really, really loud. For example, if I have to grind a bunch of spices or like using the KitchenAid, I prefer to do that before stream because it's just like 10 minutes of
Yeah.
and like nobody can hear me. And it's just like nobody wants to listen to that. So that kind of prep I will do ahead of time, just like right before stream or something so that it's not a pain in the butt on stream.
That makes sense. So have you guys figured out like a sweet spot in terms of length of doing a cooking stream where it's still interesting and it's not too long, right? There's not a lot of downtime. How long are your streams usually?
I sit around 2 or 3 hours. I think maybe 4 if it's like a really complicated dish or if I'm doing multiple dishes for the stream, but like 2 to 3, maybe 4 is the longest I like to go.
Yeah, I think mine are typically 3 to 4 hours, but I also only do twice a week. So it probably comes out to about the same amount. Sometimes I'll go to like 5 or 6 if it's a really long thing or like we're really feeling it, but generally 3 to 4 hours.
That makes sense. So do you guys have like, how do you guys read chat? Do you just like have it on your computer screen? Do you have like a separate tablet or something? Or do you use your phone? Like,
I have a monitor. I have a monitor in the corner where I can see OBS and I can see chat.
Same. It's just sitting on the corner of my island where I can just have like Streamlabs like up so I can read everything.
Gotcha. So what other equipment do you guys use? Like what are some handy pieces of equipment that people wouldn't think about besides, camera, mic, obviously? Like what else?
Okay. Lighting, definitely. Lighting is very, very important. I actually have my lighting right here. You can kind of see the reflection back there. But I've got this big light that we usually have in the kitchen. So lighting is very important. I personally use a GorillaPod for my prep cam, which is this little tripod that has malleable legs. So we can move the prep cam wherever we want to at whatever height or angle that we want it. So that's something that I've always used and I really like for my stream.
And even have it grab onto stuff.
Which we've done when we're walking, when we have the walk, that is a bit higher up. So we actually put it up on something and like grab it onto another tripod or something. Yes, walking.
Yeah, I agree completely with Allison. I have a couple big soft boxes in each corner of my kitchen. And then I've replaced every single bulb in my kitchen to be the same color temperature. So like everything's uniform. There's no different lighting.
You don't have that like yellow corner.
Oh yeah. Early on, while looking at my old streams, looking early on at the like mixed color lighting drives me absolutely insane as a photographer and a streamer. Other than that, I mean I use a lot of these like boom arms for over stove stuff because I don't actually use my kitchen stove because it's behind me. I like have an induction burner that I use in front of me, so I never have to turn around away from stream.
That's actually really smart to think about because like I had that same problem the first time I did a cooking stream was like turning 180 and not having another camera angle to like watch that side, right? So your back's kind of to the camera some of the time.
Yeah, I prefer not having to turn around to use my back burners. You were gonna say Allison,
I'm actually really lucky that my stove faces the camera. So we actually took it was actually a photography background that I use as like my countertop. That is kind of overlapping half of the stove. But that way I can always be facing the camera instead of having to like turn around, turn away and do prep away from the camera. So I do feel that works better when we can. And I see chat talking about my fry cam. I did fry my camera once too.
Yeah. What is the fry cam?
Yeah. So the problem with the GorillaPod is you can move those legs, and if you don't position them right, it can be unsteady. And yeah, I did that once when I was making fish tacos, and I was prepping to fry the fish, and you see the camera just go whoop into the oil. You
Oh,
can
no.
see, because we were actually showing that camera at the time, you can see the angle of the camera just like face first into the oil.
Then it picks up speed as it goes in.
And I was at the sink at the time, and I was just like, oh my god.
What
And
an interesting.
LA was the one who clipped that for me. So thanks to LA, we
There's proof.
Living
You're
on
welcome.
forever.
forever. That was actually 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and the camera still works
Wow.
amazingly.
That's got to be like a horrifying experience as a viewer. You're just like diving into the
I was just like,
oil.
oh god, we ruined it. But it was amazingly fine. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Wow, that is amazing.
I mean, that brings to light these additional issues that seem to exist in cooking streams that you wouldn't get anywhere else. Like, you have hot stuff, you have sharp stuff, you got hot things that are spitting at you at the same time. How do you manage that differently? How does your attention work? Do you have to like take time like specifically away from chat and totally ignore them while you're cutting stuff, or while there's hot oil and maybe a little liquid that's getting dropped in there?
You definitely learn to be more careful.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the only person who has done something bad to the camera. I've seen people boil their cameras. I'm pretty sure I've seen other people fry their cameras. I've seen people catch wires on fire. You have to be really careful. If you're moving around your camera, don't get the wire next to the flame. It's a bad thing. Don't do it. I've seen it happen.
Oh boy.
No.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah, at some point, like when I'm cooking at least, or if I'm cutting things, like I like shut off, like mentally shut off chat for a second and just like focus in on what I'm doing. Or like if I know that the recipe is going to need me to be like really, really focused on throwing things in at certain times, like I will just stop looking at chat for a little bit, and you just enjoy me working this pan for a bit, and then I'll
that's
look
the
back.
nice thing for me about having my husband be a part of the stream as well, is that if I have to really focus, he could just talk to chat, like goof off, whatever. So he's always kind of covering for me for moments that I have to be really focused, or like, I'm folding dumplings, I'm frying something, I'm chopping something, so I don't hurt myself.
Yeah, you can't really read chat while like cutting quickly.
Like, oh, what's going on? Cool. Nah.
Danger zone.
I do feel like
cut myself freaks out. Yeah.
Oh, you
on
have?
stream. I have cut myself once on stream. It wasn't too bad, but like it's like get distracted from it, and like I actually jab myself. I'm like, oh,
is that
give me a
like
moment.
TOS? If you like cut yourself and like you're
only
bleeding?
if you do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I think it's only if you do it on purpose. Intentional self-harm is TOS, but accidental I think is okay.
But you can't like just like keep your cut. Just can't just be like my fingers done.
You should probably do something with it. Yeah. But yeah, I burned myself on stream actually a few weeks ago. So yeah, these things do happen.
Oh gosh.
It's in the kitchen. Things happen.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be more likely to happen, right? Because of that distraction.
Right. I feel like it's like one of those skills, like, when you start streaming, like you're trying to play a game and read chat, and like I get this question from new streamers. They're like, how do you keep up with chat? Like it's like flowing and like you're still playing the game. It's seamless. It's like, I feel like with cooking, it's the same way, right? You like kind of start out really kind of back and forth, but then you kind of get in the flow of like glancing and like grabbing like 10 questions at once and then just like answering them while you're cooking.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, that's definitely something I think a lot of newer streamers need. Like they're trying to find that balance. A lot of newer streamers will just kind of ignore chat. And we're like, but we're here. Listen to us. We're chatting at you. We're trying to support you.
Don't forget about us.
Yeah. It's really easy to just get really into your cooking and like forget that chat exists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the least you should do is just like commentate on what you're doing or what you're about to do, or like any fun facts. Like I feel like people that are watching, they kind of want to learn, right? So like just learning about the food you're making, like maybe the history of it, or like why you're doing this. Like for me, I feel like I can only learn from watching cooking streams, because like I know so little. So I feel like just talking out what you're doing and providing that commentary can just be enough a lot of the time, right? Like I feel like I don't know, and you guys can tell me, like how important is interaction and actually responding and being quick about it versus like just providing a stream that has good commentary?
I think it depends on the streamer. For my stream, the interaction and entertainment is the focus. We don't really worry about being an educational stream because I am not a chef. I've cooked a lot, but I'm a home cook. I'm not a chef. So we find that being entertaining is what keeps our community around. But there are also cooking streamers who are much more educational and who, want to share those cool facts and stuff, who are also very successful. So, it very much depends on the stream.
Yeah, I try to keep a nice balance between the two. There's always time to like goof off and talk about whatever on in the kitchen, and then focus in on what I'm actually doing and how I'm actually cutting things and stuff. But like, my goal is to always teach brand new people in the kitchen. So like, I always want to keep it kind of lighthearted and not be too like, you have to cut the onion exactly this way, So yeah, there's a balance to be had, but I love interacting with chat.
Yeah, that's
cool.
I
think having chat and interacting with chat is the main reason to be on Twitch, because otherwise, like, you could just do YouTube videos and
Exactly.
But like, the whole point of this is to talk to other people, hang out with other people, chat with all these random people who have decided to watch you, which is pretty dang cool.
And is that something that determines, or that helps determine, like, your recipe selection, looking at the intensity of one recipe over another and how specific some of the timing is going to get, and whether or not that's really ultimately going to draw you away from being able to read chat and interact, if it's just constant attention to the recipe and the production of the food itself? Is that a real consideration and concern?
Yes and no. Like, I don't think I've ever done a recipe that's taking me completely away from chat in any case. Like, but I can't eat, but I also can't think of a recipe that would. So
okay.
But I mean, my main consideration is time. Like, just like, how long is this going to take, and like, am I going to be not doing anything for a long period of time because I'm waiting for something to boil, stuff like that.
Yeah. Always trying to keep something going, but not trying to have something that goes too long. And I think that's something that you learn as you stream, because like I said, going into it, all of us kind of overdo it because you think that this thing that takes you a couple hours offline is going to take you a couple hours on stream, and it never goes that way. It's like 8 hours later. Stream. Okay, we're finally done. Is anybody still watching? Yeah. I don't know, but we guys are live out there. I mean, like, one of my first streams was, I think, an 11-hour stream because I was prepping for Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
So much longer on stream than it normally would off stream. I was like 5 hours of peeling carrots. Like, you think I'm kidding? I'm not. It was terrible. It was terrible. But yeah, so you kind of find that balance too of like, okay, how long are things actually going to take me on stream versus if I did them off stream, and let's go for the easier ones that are only going to take me a few hours on stream while talking to people.
So basic tip, like, don't make your first stream Thanksgiving is what you're saying. Probably not a good first stream.
It was terrible.
Sweet.
But I do want to talk a little bit more about like planning for events and stuff, and like how much of that goes into you guys planning out your schedule, like, for like holidays and stuff, but also just, I don't know, like, do you ever match things up with like games, like any game related stuff? Because that's kind of like Twitch's big focus for a while is gaming, right? So do you guys do any of that?
Yeah, from time to time I will like make recipes that are like, for example, when Breath of the Wild came out, or Final Fantasy 15, like there's big food components in both of those games. I tried to make recipes from those games, like either soon after the release or during the release. And I guess there's another time that I was making food from anime that was getting released too, like Food Wars, for example.
That's awesome.
And yeah, just like find something from there and just make it, and just like kind of tie it into the real world, I guess, you know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't as much, just because I usually can't get myself together in time.
That's
And
weird.
I was really big on holidays in like the first year. And now I'm just kind of a lot more like, if I'm going to be making it anyways, like if I'm making something that my mom requested for Mother's Day, for example, then yeah, I'll do it on stream. But I'm not going to go out of my way to do holiday stuff that I wouldn't have already done because I know a lot of other streamers are. So like it's covered. So I just kind of do what I want.
It's like forcing yourself into competition when you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
And it's not
never
even
made a
about-
turkey on stream for Thanksgiving. I was like, everyone's making turkey. I'm not gonna make turkey. Like,
I
Oh, sorry.
actually, wait, did I make a turkey on stream? But I made a turkey like last year. I don't know if it was actually on stream though. But yeah, I don't tend to do the big holiday things that much anymore, unless
Mm.
it's something I was already going to do.
Yeah. Now, so you did mention like a couple of like events or something that you do, I don't, like the cookbook thing or something. You mentioned it earlier.
So before quarantine, I was doing a cookbook club every month, which I have a lot of cookbooks. I just counted. I have over 500 cookbooks. It's a lot.
Wow.
So I figured, how about have a cookbook club because that'll make me use my cookbooks. So I was actually doing an IRL potluck with some of my friends, but this was also something that I did on stream where I a couple streams every month cook from whatever that month's cookbook was. So I was doing that before quarantine kind of killed it. And we also were doing a showdown, which is kind of like a chop challenge, but we know the ingredients ahead of time, but they're chosen by chat and chat likes to troll us.
Oh
And
boy.
my husband and I each have an hour to cook something using those 4 ingredients. He's not that much of a cook. But so that's
Do y'all have
part
to
of
eat
the
each
fun of
other's
this?
food after it's
Oh yes.
done?
Yeah, we both try both
So you're
dishes.
subjected to his food.
I'm still alive.
That is true.
I haven't died yet. But yes, so we've been doing that for maybe the last year. Kind of stopped now, but we were for a while. So those are always fun things for chat. I think they really enjoy saying that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems
yeah.
like a really like great inventive idea to kind of keep your content fresh and like especially like the idea of doing like challenges and stuff and like anything that's like themed or just any way to kind of like freshen up and like kind of segment your streams in a way, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, my husband just walked in with our championship belt, which you can see. The my emotes are when I won. His emotes are when he won. So I've got the majority here.
Nice.
That's cool.
That is
I love
awesome.
that. What other stuff do y'all implement to figuratively spice up the cooking content so that it not that it needs to be in any given moment, but to diversify like what people are experiencing of your cooking content? Are there other things that you do or that you would like to do or that you've seen done that's like, wow, this is a really interesting way to do a cooking stream themed, like you were talking about video game themes, doing the the dish and cooking combat. What other ideas have y'all implemented and or thought of that that would drive some of that content?
I haven't done this yet. I would like to, but I've seen where in another stream a chat will buy ingredients and have them shipped to their house, and then they have to cook whatever they have been given. Pretty much, there's degrees of separation to make that happen, but like that takes a whole. I feel like that takes a whole team of people to work together to work, and that's Mrs. Ruby, right? Are you familiar, Allison?
I
Wouldn't know.
I don't know if I've actually seen
Okay.
those streams. But aren't you doing something kind of similar to that tomorrow?
Yeah. There's a food beast challenge happening tomorrow that I'm gonna be part of, and they've sent me ingredients in bags that I cannot open till stream. So
it's like a mystery.
yeah, a secret ingredient. Yeah, so I don't know.
that should
I don't
be
know
fun to
what's in
see.
there. We'll see what happens.
This is tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow at this time. Actually,
That's awesome. So you said that was with other streamers, or do you guys do you do collaborations with other streamers?
So tomorrow is going to be a special event, and I'm cooking against Bonsai Baby tomorrow.
Oh,
So it should be fun. It's not so much well, it's not based off taste, but it's off presentation, and it's a bleed purple challenge, so that I have to make the most purple dish as well. So
that's awesome.
should be interesting. Should be interesting.
That's really cool. So, what other collaborations, or do you guys do any collaborations with other streamers? Like, I don't know, different challenges, or just like coordinating maybe like a theme day where everyone cooks something based on a certain theme or something in the directory?
So I know a lot of cooking streamers have done that. I have not, because just getting my stuff together to do that, it's been a lot.
Yeah, I feel like committing to that could be tough.
Yeah, that's always been the problem for me, is just finding the time to organize things like that or get myself together. And it's hard enough to just like get the stream up every weekend. So I haven't, but a lot of people have. I know there have been like theme days of like, there are all these food holidays. A lot of people will do that. A lot of cooking streamers will do like the St. Jude stuff, and they'll all kind of get together and do that sort of thing. So there definitely are a lot of streamers who do. I just haven't.
I did a couple streams with Bonsai, Domestic Dan, and Working Chef. We did like all the same dish at the same time. We were all making onigiri, and that was fun. I mean, that was one of the collaborations I did. I don't remember what else I've done collaborative wise. I know that, there were times where we will all make the same sort of dish, but it's hard to coordinate together and cook at the same time, I guess, as well, because everyone cooks at their own pace and they interact with different ways. So
yeah. I mean, it's hard enough even getting people on a call at the same time, much less coordinating like all of these individuals to collectively simultaneously produce some delicious object of art.
Yeah. So in terms of like, what the directory on Twitch has looked like, wasn't it first creative that you streamed under, and then it segmented out into the different ones? Right now it's food and drink.
Yes.
So how has that changed like cooking on Twitch?
I feel like, well, I mean, when I first started streaming on Twitch,
back in my day.
When I was streaming under creative, I would have like all these artists that I would like be in a directory with and be like, I'm cooking next to all these artists, like, who am I gonna raid? I'm like, well, I'm gonna raid an artist today because that's who I'm seeing right now. And it was like harder to find other cooking streamers in general,
right?
But when we separated out, finally, it was like, oh wow, all these people are cooking on Twitch. I had no idea some of these people existed. It was kind of nice to see us in our own space, but at the same time, I miss my creative community. So
I think it's had its pros and cons, because like I said, it's a lot easier to find other cooking streamers. But I also feel like fewer people are searching for cooking streamers because they just don't know we exist. Even now, a lot of people don't realize that there's cooking or programming or art or, any of these creative things that are not gaming on Twitch. So to get people to find us is a lot more difficult, because like when we were lumped into either IRL or creative, then it's like, oh, well, you're already on there looking for something else. Oh, look, there's food. Let me check that out. So I wouldn't say it's a negative thing. I wouldn't say it's 100% a positive thing. I'd say it's fairly neutral, slightly positive.
I think they said the same thing last week when we were doing music on Twitch. Megan Lenius and Shauna Nina.
Yeah.
I think they expressed the exact same thing. Like when they were doing stuff before in the broader creative directory, anybody could just stumble onto it.
Yeah.
Now that it's like music only, and in this case, like the food and drink only separated out segment, you have to get into that as a viewer to then find people who do that thing instead of it being under that broader umbrella.
Yeah, and I know there are a lot of people who will stream food and drink under just chatting instead, because that does have that more general, like a lot more people will be looking at that. So it's one of those things of like, you can do that to try to get a little more traffic and stuff. But at the same time, you know, I want to be in food and drink because I want to support like my community and I want to help my community grow. So it's kind of this like, well, you know, what's actually going to be more positive for my stream, but also the community as a whole in the long run.